We're in the kitchen, which is the scene of the most amusing part of the workshop.
At dinner tonight, I was in charge of, with Sean Kennard, I was in charge of making the sauce for the pasta and also making the salad and making the meatballs.
I was one of the pasta makers.
I was in charge of assisting Mei Ting with the pasta.
I made the dessert, the crumble, fruit crumble, and I made the garlic bread, also a last minute pinch hitter for the garlic bread.
The participants cook dinner for themselves and for guests 2, sometimes 3 nights in a row.
I haven't made a lot of sauces from scratch, but have some experience cooking, not as much as I'd like.
It's amusing, but it's also perhaps the most instructive part, because cooking is something that's very vital, very primitive, very basic.
I'd never made pasta before, so it was exciting.
What I'm trying to get these pianists to do with their music, they do naturally in the kitchen.
When you have a large audience that you're preparing for, and in this case it was 11 people that we were preparing dinner for, so there's a little bit more pressure, but it was all in good fun.
I give them some very basic ingredients, and they have to put them together. Many of them have not cooked very much in their life, and so they're learning really from scratch.
During dinner, it was great. Everybody was sort of, I think the dynamic was very warm, and everybody sort of offered suggestions in a light way and in a very constructive way as well.
I think we had a good time making dinner. Maybe it was because it was just a break from thinking about serious things and performing and Scarlatti.
Energetic, positive.
It felt better to me because I felt better because I was eating, for God's sake.
And it's surprising how in just 2 times, with the right kind of approach, with the right kind of analysis, the right attitude towards wanting to learn from one's mistakes, how much improvement there can be.
We are really working together, learning together.
I don't think of them as my competitors. If I were to think about it, it would be strange.
We're all such different personalities, so it's interesting to be around them in a musical setting and now to be around them in something completely different.
It really takes the pressure off and takes the competitive edge out of the whole experience. They're not my competitors, they're my friends, they're my colleagues.
Once they've gone through this experience, it's then a little easier to apply the same method to sitting at the piano and practicing, where very often one will play a passage over and over and over and over again with the same kinds of mistakes until it finally starts sounding a little better. Well, that would be like cooking the same meal with not enough salt over and over and over again until finally you just get so tired you put a little extra salt and hey, it's a little better. Rather than doing this trial and error, it's much more efficient to cook and analyze and strategize, plan out what one is going to do for the second time, right away. How are we going to improve this meal?
It was good, you know, it was all edible.
It turned out pretty well. The salad was pretty much just how we expected it. The pasta sauce and the meatballs, there weren't quite enough of them. And we completely forgot to add the salt. I thought the parsley would do a little bit more for the flavor of the pasta, but it did okay. It didn't quite go as far as I wanted it to.
In the same way, when we sit at the piano, we play it once and we analyze it, we taste it, and then we strategize. And then after spending a lot of time trying to figure out what happened and what we can do, then we finally play it a second time. And usually in the time it takes to play 2 or 3 times, in the old way we would have played it 10 or 20 times. The progress that we make in just playing it 2 or 3 times is so much more concrete and so much more long-lasting than the incremental kinds of improvements that we make by repetitive kind of rote practicing. In cooking, we can find all sorts of analogies to playing the piano. That's why I have these pianists cook their own meals.